Hello, welcome. I'm Bett. This is going to be a full body yoga class. We're going to do a little bit of a flow. We're going to start with an opening of the chest. What you need for class today is a thick bolster, 2 blocks, and I'll show you how to set that up. 2 blocks will be down here, the bolster in the middle. You could try to use towels or something rolled up. You can try that. I recommend a yoga blanket, which we'll be using later. And then we're going to be using a strap. So let me go ahead and show you how that's going to be set up. We're going to make a loop in the strap and then have it about shoulder width. So it'll look like this. And we're going to be working the outside of the shoulder. So today we're going to undo the curve of sitting. So when we're sitting all day, we're like this in a curve shape with our head, forward head posture, a lot of stress on the neck, a lot of strain in the shoulders. Our chest is getting crunched and it's hard to breathe, so we're not getting as much oxygen to our brain. And then we're overstretching and weakening the thoracic spine. So when we sit like this, we can really lose touch with the bigger world. We can have less creative ideas. So we're going to be opening up, coming out of that C shape and opening to the world, getting the wisdom and insight from the world. We'll be doing a few standing poses and go ahead and set up. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. We're going to sit right in front of the bolster. Our feet are going to come together. We're going to put our knees on the blocks and take a moment to adjust. And then we're going to have our arms stretched out. So make sure you're not running into walls. So we're going to go in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hold at the top of the breath for 4, really extending the intercostal muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to hold the breath out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll lead one more round and then I'm going to let you go on your own. So in for 4 through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top, really opening up the chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hold the breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I may have been going too slow or too fast. Continue at your own pace, keeping your mind focused on the breath, breathing through the nose. All right, last round. And then let your breath return to normal whenever you finish, no rush. And we're going to just check in with our emotional state today. So ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And then breathe into that emotional manifestation in your body, being curious about what that emotion feels like in the body. And then we're going to turn our attention to the mental state. So noticing the thoughts in our mind, We're not trying to clear the mind. We're just noticing the thoughts. So notice if they're on different topics or if there's one topic that keeps coming up for you. So just noticing your thoughts. And now we're going to do a gratitude practice. Whenever you're feeling down, if any kind of disappointments happen day to day, gratitude is the most powerful emotion. So let's think of something we're thankful for right now, and then let that gratitude brew in our body and really feeling it deeply. And then let the gratitude expand, running down your arms, down to your fingertips, running down your legs to your toes, up to the top of your head, letting every cell vibrate with gratitude. And then memorize this, because you can bring this back anytime. We have such a short amount of time together today to really set you up for a great day. Let's make an intention. How can you best leverage this time to set yourself up for a wonderful day? All right. So if your back is feeling at all tight or irritated, what you can do is you can take a blanket and then put it under your sacrum. So you could fold the blanket and then lift the sacrum up and then put it under. So just notice that if any time you're feeling any kind of discomfort in the lower back, please go ahead and make that modification. So we're going to take our legs out long, and we're going to take our belt. So hopefully the belt is nearby. It's in a loop. We're going to put the belt around the wrists. And what we're going to be doing is working into the shoulders. So there's two movements, and I really want you to go all out on this. We're going to be pulling the hands apart. So we're making the belt taut. We're going to be activating the fingers and reaching the elbows strong and long. And I'll now show you the movement. So we're going to bring the hands by the thighs, and we're going to inhale the hands up overhead through the nose, reaching out overhead towards the wall behind you. That's the top. And then we're going to exhale those hands down towards the thighs through the nose. Pulling the belt apart and inhaling up. Exhaling down. The elbows are straight the whole time, and those fingers are activated. So when we activate through the fingertips, we really bring a lot of energy all the way down the arm. So big deep breaths here, inhaling deeply into the lungs, opening all the little intercostal muscles between the ribs. So reach down as far as feels good to you, and this may be different, depending on the time of day or the day of the week, or just whatever's going on in your life. So just noticing and accepting how far you can bring your hands down behind your head, and just go down to wherever feels like a nice stretch, but not pulling any muscles. Moving with the breath. This is almost more about the breath, exhaling all the air out when you bring the hands to the thighs, and inhaling deeply, filling all those all the little corners of the lungs. So today's class is all about reversing the C shape. When we're sitting a lot, driving, texting, sitting on our computer, our body becomes a C shape, and we're going to open that up today. Reversing out all the sitting. So really feel that as you open up the chest. All right, we're gonna do one more. Really full deep inhale. And then full exhale. Excellent. And then when you get your hands down to your thighs, let's take the belt and drop it over to the side. And then we're going to take our arms out and just notice, drop the arms wherever feels comfortable and just notice the movement, the work that we've done so far. Breathing deeply into the lungs. Again, if your back has any issues, you could also take one of your blocks and put it under the back. So really be mindful of your back. This is a pretty intense back bend. So if you feel anything, please feel free to put a block or a blanket under your sacrum. All right, so next we're going to take our arms into cactus arms. So 90-degree angle in the elbow, and we're going to inhale, open, bringing the hands and the elbow close to the ground. And this is all depending on how high your bolster is or how tight your back is or your chest. So don't really worry about how far down you can go. Just go as far as feels like a nice stretch across your chest. And we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together as we inhale the hands down towards the ground. And then we're going to exhale the hands coming up over our face, and we're going to press our palms together, full palms and full elbows pressing. The forearms are pressing overhead. We're going to keep that 90-degree angle, and we're going to just open up with an inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, exhale, bring the hands overhead. So taking a look at me if you're unsure about anything. So breathing, really pressing. So we're doing some isometric here. When we press the hands and the forearms together, we're getting into the rotator cuff. There's a shoulder surgeon, I listened to an interview with him. He said that 60% of the average person walking around has a rotator cuff issue because our rotator cuff, which is on the outside of the shoulder, doesn't really get used that much. So it deteriorates. It doesn't have any blood flow. So right now we're getting into that rotator cuff as we press the hands and the forearms together. So you may feel a little bit of sensation on the outside of that shoulder. All right, we're going to do one more. Nice. And then again, let's just drop the hands wherever and just notice that movement through the body. Checking in with the lower back, seeing if it's still okay. All right, we're going to do one more of these chest openers. We're going to take the arms out into the T shape, and then we're going to take the hands together overhead, giving ourselves a little high five, pressing the hands firmly together, and then opening out. When we bring our hands down to the ground, press those fingernails firmly into the ground. Again, this is an isometric strengthening. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Inhale, bring the hands overhead, press the palms. Elbows are nice and straight. Inhaling open, filling the lungs. Exhale, closed. So isometrics are such a great way to bring strength to our body. And you can do them without any equipment. All right, let's all do one more. And then bring the hands together. All right, we're going to just drop the arms and notice again, how is this feeling? Are we getting a lot of sensation? All right, we're now going to work on those hips. So we're going to bend the knees, bring the feet hip width. And because we're up on our bolster, we're actually giving our back more room to move. So just take a look at me, find a way to look at me without hurting your neck. I'm going to leave my arms wherever, and then I'm going to press into the ground with my feet, and I'm going to lift my hips way up high, and then I'm going to come all the way down. So this is a really big bridge pose, coming all the way down, putting my butt back on the ground, inhaling all the way up. Now, if this is just too much for you and this is not working, you can always come off the bolster and do this on the ground. So this is an option to give you a lot more range of motion. So decide if you want to try it, if it's going to work for you today. And we're just going to be moving up and down at your own pace, inhaling all the way up, really getting a nice big opening, engaging those glutes, exhaling all the way down. Again, we're using the breath here to work the body. Arms wherever. You can try different places for the hands and see where it feels nicest. If you do a few and you're like, this is too much on my back, feel free to take the bolster out and just roll into the ground. I like this because it really gives us extra movement into the spine. And the slower you go, the harder it is, almost in everything, except for probably sprinting. When we work out, the slower we move, the more muscle fibers we're engaging. And the more we mindfully engage those muscles, the more the muscle is going to react and change and become stronger. So really focusing your mind on any muscles that you feel working here. All right, we're going to do one more. See if you can make it the biggest one of the day. Really pressing maybe a little bit extra into the feet, lifting the glutes another inch higher. And then when you come all the way down, we're going to roll off the bolster in whichever direction feels good. And then we're going to slide the bolster off of our mat and just set it aside. Maybe we'll use it again for Shavasana later. All right, and then let's just lie on our back for a moment and feel the change. You can have the knees bent or straight depending on your lower back. You can wiggle around a little bit, just noticing. Just a little bit of movement. How does that impact your body? Noticing if the breath is freer. Is there any change in the emotional state even? All right. So we're going to work more on the hips. So we're going to start with another bridge modification. And it's called the marching bridge. At least that's what I call it. We're going to bring the feet hip width apart. We're going to lift all the way up. Make sure there's nothing under your head at this point. Don't have any blankets or anything. We're going to lift all the way up, and then we're going to march. Right knee in, left knee in. Inhaling, exhaling. So trying to keep the hips up and not letting them sag. That's the challenge here. So we're going to do this for 1 minute. Take a break if you need to. Otherwise, really try to keep those hips pushing up. Notice if they're falling and re-engage. So what are we working here? We're working these glutes, keeping the hips up. We're working some core muscles, and then we're working the psoas at the front of the hip. This is the muscle that gets super tight and weak when we sit a lot. So we're working that muscle to pull that knee in. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or anything else that's unneeded right now. All right, we're almost done. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and lower those glutes slowly. Whew. You can leave the knees bent or straighten the legs, whichever one feels better. And just take a moment to feel the blood flow through the body. Your heart rate may be elevated. All right. So we're going to do the dead bug, which is maybe not a standard yoga move, but it is a great full body warm up. We're going to take the left elbow to the right knee with an inhale, and then we're going to exhale the right elbow to the left knee. Inhale, exhale. How to make this easier, bring the legs up into the sky. How to make it harder, bring the legs right above the ground, just hovering. Make it easier by laying the head on the ground. Make it harder by lifting up and really reaching across body. Move with the breath. Breathing through the nose. So nose breathing is really important because it slows and warms and moisturizes the air. So you actually get more oxygen when you nose breathe. So feel all the muscles working. The psoas again on the front of the hip. We're working the shoulders. The neck is working if the head is up. The core. The lats on the side. Can you push through the heel? Making your whole back of your leg work here. All right, one more on each side. And then again, rest. Let your whole body just collapse. Feel the heart rate elevated. And just memorize how this feels. Use this as a motivation to help you remember to come and do your practice. Your body wants to move. It feels so good. All right. We're going to do a side pose. So I'm going to roll over onto my right side, and I'm going to put a block underneath my head as a little pillow. And we're going to do a reclined dancer pose. We're going to make it really easy. So I'm going to grab my ankle, but you can also take your belt if that works for you. You can take that loop. I'll show you what it looks like. And I'm going to kick back. So I'm going to hold on to either my foot or the belt as close as I can. The rest of my body is just going to stay still. And I'm going to kick that. This is my left leg. I'm kicking into the belt or my hand. And that's activating my quadricep and my psoas. So we're trying to just take out the balance part of it and just work on that activating. So you can feel it's a little bit of a back bend and it's opening up the psoas. Okay, and we're now going to breathe here. So notice if your leg is coming up like mine was, try to bring it down so that the knees, you could even have the knees matching or coming back a little bit. And then notice if the breath is getting out of control. Try to bring the breath under control here. Breathing through the nose. The more you kick back, the more you're activating that quadricep. And feel the back bend, letting your back get a little bit of arch in it. All right, one more deep breath. Great, and we're gonna do the other side. So I'm gonna just turn around so I can keep looking at you. You decide how you want to rearrange. So we're gonna now lay on our left side and kick back with the right. So again, you can use your belt or your hand. I'll show the hand this time. So my knees are stacked up on top of each other. My head is on my block. And then I take my right hand with my right foot and I'm kicking back into the hand. So this is again isometric. We're actively pushing the foot away, which is activating the quadricep and the psoas. And now breathe through the nose. And notice if you're clenching anything that's unneeded, like your jaw or your eyes. Bring some softness to anything that's tightening. All right, one more deep breath. Exhale. Excellent. So we're working on opening the chest, opening all the things that get really tight. The next thing we're going to do is a reverse table, which is a great way to strengthen all the muscles and things that get tight when we're sitting a lot. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. First of all, the fingers are going to be towards the toes. I'm going to be sitting with my feet right in front of me. My knees are bent, feet are hip width apart. I'm going to bring my hands and put them right behind me, underneath my shoulders. And then I'm going to press up. So it's very much like the bridge, pressing the hips up, but now we have the upper body. So let me show you again. My hands are behind me, fingers are pointing towards my toes, and then I lean back, press into the feet, lifting those hips right up. All right, so we're just gonna do this for 1 minute, which will sound like a long time. And let's notice, what do we clench? What do we do when we're under stress? Do we tighten the eyes? Do we clench the jaw? Is there anything that's not being used that is clenching right now? And can you bring some rest to that? So there's 2 options with the head. You can bring the head up and look down at the feet or the knees, or you can let the head fall back and look at the ceiling. Now, it may seem like a lot to look up, but actually it is working your neck. So notice if it's too much, just do a little bit. You can bring your head up, maybe go back. You always want to approach all exercise gently and mindfully. So know what's going on with your neck today. And if it's too much, give yourself a little break. But it is a great way to strengthen your neck. All right, let's do 1 more deep breath. And then we're gonna ease down. So lowering the hips down. Whew. And then we'll bring the hands up. So this is a lot on the hands. So let's go ahead and take the hands. Yeah, let's just let those hands, let's paint the wall. Look at that. Beautiful colors. Yes, and then let's do little karate chops. Coming the side, little karate chops today. And then do some, I don't know if it's conducting. Beautiful, beautiful music being conducted. Excellent. Okay, good. So we're gonna come around onto the other side and work from the other direction. So this is where I highly recommend grabbing a blanket and putting it underneath your knees. We're gonna do a 2-minute creative, I call it a creative cat-cow. And it's really a moving meditation. And so what I want you to think about as you are doing this 2-minute cat-cow is, what's tight on my body right now, and how does my body want to move, to explore, maybe loosen, maybe relax that tightness. So just take a look at me. I'm going to show you some examples. So a normal cat-cow is you inhale, looking up, curling the tailbone up towards the ceiling. There's a big arch in the back. And then we exhale, looking down at the pubic bone. The pubic bone is coming towards the face. This is your standard cat-cow. It's a wonderful release in the back. But sometimes when we're doing this very standard cat-cow, we realize like, oh, I need to kind of like wiggle out something over here, or I need to go over here, or I want to go more down into a child's pose, or I maybe want to do a little bit of an up dog. So what I want you to do is explore your body and move and be intuitive about what your body needs right now. So I'm going to stop talking and start a timer for 2 whole minutes, and I'm not going to say a word. You explore you. No one's looking at you. This is just you and your body. All right, go ahead. Moving with the breath. going to do our last movement with the inhale. Last exhale. And then we're all going to meet in a child's pose. So if you want to, you can remove your blanket. Have your blocks really nearby. We're going to use them in a moment. And then we'll just come into a child's pose. So child's pose often is with hands overhead, but I would love for you to explore today if it feels better on your shoulders to have your hands by your feet. So just explore and see which one feels better for you today. If your head doesn't reach the ground, please use your blanket under the forehead so that your forehead can rest on something. We're going to grab those blocks. Just take a moment to see how I set them up. I'm going to take the blocks into a little V shape, put them right in front of me, and you may need to adjust a little bit. Bring the elbow points right to the edge of the block that's nearest to you. Bring the hands together, and then range so that you can drop the head through the elbows down to the ground. Again, if your head does not reach the ground, please feel free to use a blanket, supporting the forehead. And now we're going to breathe into the tightness. So wherever you find that tightness, deeply breathe into that, opening up the back, opening up the chest. All right, one more deep breath. Long exhale. Coming up. And again, notice how the body's feeling. All right, I'm going to give you two options for the next sequence. The first one is to put your knee on a blanket. The second is to have the knee up. So let me show you the whole pose and you can decide which one's best for you. First, I'm going to put my blocks at the top of my mat. I'm going to start with my right foot. And this is what it looks like with the knee down. I'm going to be looking forward or looking up, really pressing through the left psoas. Inhaling up, and then on exhale, forward fold, trying to get my leg fully straight so I can get a hamstring stretch over my right leg. Letting the head drop. So that's what it looks like with the knee on the ground. If you want to try the knee up, I tuck the left toes, I lift up, and then I'm going to forward fold over, both legs are straight, and then I'm going to come forward with that knee off the ground. So decide which one feels like the right one for you today, and then go ahead and set up and we will do this together. So what are we doing here? We are working on the psoas on the left leg. So go ahead and look up, inhaling deeply, bending that right knee, and then exhale, forward fold over the right knee. And now we're working on the hamstring on the right leg. So going at your own pace, inhaling forward, exhaling, forward fold. The further you push into that left heel, if your knee is up, you're going to get really into the psoas on the left side, and you're also going to get into the hamstring and calf on the left leg. So we're really doing multiple things here. These muscles get super tight, the hamstrings, the calves, the psoas, when we sit a lot. Moving with your breath at your own pace. I might be going too slow or too fast. All right, one more in each of the directions. Great. And then we're going to swap legs. So we're going to bring the right leg back and bring the left leg forward. Now you may not even want to do the exact same variation because maybe this side feels totally different. So decide which one feels best. Inhaling up, exhaling forward fold. Moving at your own pace with the breath. If that right leg is straight and off the ground, then you can press through that right heel, really activating the psoas and the hamstring and calf on the right leg. One more in each direction. And then we're going to step forward with the right leg, coming into a forward fold. So let's bring the feet underneath the hips. You can either bring your hands to the ground or to blocks. And we're going to breathe into the backs of the legs. Feel free to pedal the knees back and forth. Letting the head hang, turn the head side to side. Saying good morning, hamstrings. Hi, how are you today? All right, we're going to remove the blocks, remove the blanket if it was there, and we're going to do a little flow. All right, so we're going to really work on strengthening these hamstrings. So just take a look at me and I'll walk you through. So we're going to inhale the arms up with the legs straight. That's working the hamstrings all the way up. Inhaling a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Take the hands, put them on the mat, and either step or hop back into a down dog. Just take a look. We'll do it all together in a moment. Exhaling, coming into plank, and then coming all the way down chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, down dog, and then we'll hop back to the top. And this is where we'll all start. All right, so let's start with the hands on the ground. So if you would come up, go ahead and come back down. So the hands either on the ground or wherever. We're going to inhale all the way up with the legs straight. So feel those hamstrings all the way up. Reaching, little back bend. Exhale all the way back down, keeping the legs straight. Whenever we move up and down with the legs straight, we're using the hamstrings. Plant the feet, step or hop back to a plank. And then we're going to come into a down dog. All right, so feeling those legs. And then we're going to roll over into plank and coming all the way through chaturanga, bending the elbows, bring the elbows by your ribs. Inhaling up into up dog, exhale back to down dog. All right, if you missed anything or if it was a little awkward, don't worry, we're going to do it a few times. We're going to hop or step to the top of our mat. And then straighten the legs, come up with a flat, with a hamstrings completely extended, knees straight. All right, I'm gonna keep walking through, exhaling forward fold, hands on the ground, hop back to a down dog. If you need to step back, it's fine. And then we're gonna come rolling over to plank all the way down to chaturanga. Don't collapse, go nice and slow. Inhale, up dog. This slowness is what makes it work. Exhale, down dog. And again, hop or step to the top. And this time, we'll stay here for one breath. Letting the head hang, pedal the legs, feeling those hamstrings, hopefully getting warm. And then let's inhale all the way up, really feeling the strength of the hamstrings coming all the way up. And again, we'll stay in our little back bend for another breath. Stretching, and then exhale, forward fold. Really nice and slow. The slower you go, the more of the hamstring work we're doing. And then again, hop or step back into down dog. And we're gonna stay in this down dog for 5 breaths, pedaling the feet. You can do little turns, looking under the arms. This is called mindful flow. It's painfully slow. It rhymes. The slower you go, the harder it is. It's quite challenging. All right, one more breath. Now we're going to roll into our plank and we're going to hold the plank for 5 painful, excruciating breaths. You ready? All right. Really pressing through those shoulder blades, pushing up, keeping the butt in line with the back, looking up if possible. 3, 2, one more breath. And then on the exhale, let's go ahead and lower, slowly bring those elbows really tight into the ribs, and then inhale up into up dog. We're going to stay in our up dog for 5 deep breaths. So this is another great shoulder strengthener. So looking up, we're doing a back bend, which is working out the curve shape from the sitting. All right, 4 and 5. And then we're going to come back to a down dog, and we're going to stay here for a little bit longer, pedaling the feet. So if there's anything special that you love doing in your down dog, feel free to do that, exploring your body right now. What does your body need? And if you're just very tired, you can always just come into a child's pose if that is what your body needs today. Turning the head, making sure the neck is long, releasing any tension out of the upper back. And coming up on the toes and then dropping the heels. All right, we're gonna hop forward, and then we're gonna come into a chair pose. The evilness continues. Evil yoga teacher. Okay, inhale the arms up. Now we're going to really breathe here. We're gonna do 5 deep breaths, engaging the quads, trying to keep that back nice and straight, reaching through the fingertips, hands, biceps are by the ears. 3, 4, and last one, 5, and we'll inhale all the way up to stand and stand in Tadasana, because ta-da, we're still alive. So bring the feet underneath the hips, bring the hands by the sides, micro bend the knees, bring your pelvis into a neutral. You can test if it's neutral by pushing your tailbone back and then bring the pelvic floor forward, and then just find that neutral space. You can close the eyes and just breathe. feeling the blood pumping through your whole body, bringing nutrition, oxygen to every cell. The joy of movement. All right, we're gonna do a tree pose. So softly open the eyes. If you want to, you can stand near a wall. I'm just gonna demonstrate the wall so you get the idea, but you don't need to use a wall if that is not your jam. We're going to start on the right foot. So I'm gonna be standing on my right foot. I'm gonna widen my toes, really nice wide base to the foot, feeling all four corners and planting into the ground. Then I'm going to bring my left foot either on the ankle, calf, or inner thigh. I'm going to touch my right fingernails to the wall, and I'm going to bring my left arm up. So my arms are extended out to the universe, but my right foot is firmly planted. We're going to be staying here for a whole minute. We are already a few seconds into that minute. So when we want to reach out to the universe to gather wisdom, insight, right? We need to be planted and rooted. So really feeling that foot on the ground, spreading. Let's wiggle the toes and make sure we're not clinging. The toes should not be clinging. And then see if you can balance your weight across all four corners of your foot like a pancake spreading out. Feel the ankle undulating. The more your ankle undulates, the more it's growing stronger. Those bones are getting denser. Feeling the leg getting stronger. And then reaching into the world, into eternity with your fingertips. 3, 2, 1, and let's come out with grace. Shake it out. What a beautiful tree. Lovely, wonderful. Let's go to the other side. So we're gonna stand on the left foot and really, first of all, let's look at that foot. Spread those toes nice and wide. Feel all four corners of the foot spreading out. Once we have that nice anchor point, then we bring the right foot either on the ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh, but not the knee. And once we get that, then we inhale the arms up. So I'm touching the wall with my left fingernails. So that way I feel like I'm secure, but I'm still getting the benefits of the tree. My foot is spread. So really feeling that ankle undulating. It's secure because the foot is spread out like a little pancake. And then the thigh. So I'm pressing my foot into my thigh or wherever your leg is pressing. That is giving you a lot of stability. And then reaching from the core out, reaching through the fingertips for the wisdom, the insights from all living creatures through history. The radiance of life. 3, 2, 1. Come on out with grace. Excellent. Good job. So standing in a tree pose for 1 minute is very important. We should be doing it every day. So the moment that we've been waiting for this whole beautiful class is dancer pose. So really to take that curve, that C shape, typing all day, we need to open up and release the psoas. So the dancer pose is the perfect way to do this. So I am going to stand sort of at an angle with my left hand on the wall, and I'm going to stand on my left foot. Just take a look at me. And then I'm going to bring my right hand onto the right ankle, and then I'm going to reach out. So this is a nice way to prevent me from falling over, but still get the benefit. Now let me show you the option with the belt. Just like we did on the ground, I'm going to take my right foot in the belt and then kick. All right, so that's what it looks like. A few things to note. We don't want to overlock this left foot, left knee. All right, so let's all do it together. We're just going to hold for 30 seconds. It's not going to be for all of eternity today, all right? So planting that left foot on the ground, spreading the toes, grab the right foot, and then we'll kick, kick. Quadricep engaged, reaching through the left hand. And now Unlock that left knee. You can even bend it a little bit. You don't want to lock out that left knee. So feeling this engagement, stretching, kicking, breathing. Feel the muscles engaging here. All right, 3, 2, 1, and let's come on out. Whew. Great, shake it out. Let's just take a moment in Tadasana again before we do the other side, just noticing how that feels on the body. Nice. All right, let's go to the other side. So again, you have the option to use your belt or you can just use your hand. So let's take the right hand touching the wall with the fingernails. We're gonna again plant that right foot, spreading the toes, then take the left hand on the left ankle and stretch and kick. Just 30 seconds. So kicking, bend that right knee, keeping it from overlocking. So beautiful, so elegant. Breathing, feeling the toes wiggle. You're not locking out the toes. Undoing all the sitting. All right, 3, 2, 1, and come on out. Great. Let's stand in Tadasana, shake it out. And again, feel this radiance through the whole body. Fresh blood, bringing nutrients to every cell. Nice. We're going to do a nice wide-legged forward fold, and it's going to be a little bit of an inversion. So we're going to take our blocks and maybe other blankets or things. We're going to take the feet out about as wide as our hands, and then we're going to bring our head down to the blocks. And I want the crown of the head, not the forehead, to touch the blocks. And you're going to need to arrange based on the tightness of the legs, wherever it is. So take a moment to set up. And then we're going to do long, deep breaths here. Letting all the worries, tensions of your life just flow out the top of the head. Putting your hands wherever feels good. You can put them overhead, put them by your ankles, behind you. Just find a place for your arms that feels good. And then notice if you're holding on to anything. Is there anything you can release here? One long last inhale, long side out. Nice. And then we're going to heel toe the feet underneath the hips, and then we're going to come down into a squat. So slowly coming, if you know you need help with your squat, you could put a block underneath your butt or put them under your hands, whatever is going to feel good. And then we'll come into Malasana and we'll do 3 Oms. So find a squat that feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, put the hands over the heart center. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Beautiful. All right, coming down slowly. And then we're going to do a pigeon pose. So when we do pigeon pose, I kind of start getting cold. So I'm going to pull on my socks. And we're going to be setting up on the right side first. So if you know you like to have a blanket under your hip, I highly recommend grabbing that. And we'll come through a down dog. So I'm going to set up my pigeon over here, and I'll give you another option. If you don't like pigeon, you can also do a figure four. I'll show you that real quick. So a figure four looks like this. The right ankle is above the knee, and then I interlace the fingers behind. So that's an option if you want to do that. Otherwise, we're going to come through a down dog, bringing the right ankle up by the left wrist, and then lowering down. So I highly recommend, if you have any hip tightness at all, you probably do want to put a blanket underneath that right hip. So folding that under. And then we'll inhale up, really stretching through the belly, a little back bend. And then exhale, forward fold, coming down, letting your head rest either on a block or a blanket or your wrists or even the ground. And then letting all the worries of the day, whatever's going on, just flow out through your forehead, sinking into the earth. Long, slow breaths here. And then we're going to come up and do king pigeon. So pushing up on your right hand, we're going to take the left hand back and grab that foot. Again, you could use that belt if you need to. And we're going to do a little sequence. We're going to pull the foot in towards the glute, and then we're going to kick back. So we're going to inhale, pulling in, and then exhale, kick back. And we're just going to go back and forth, seeing if we can get some release through that quadricep. And then final one, kick back and notice, how's that feel? Awesome. All right, we're gonna let go of that, put that left hand on the ground, put the right hand down, inch forward a little bit, and we're gonna come back into down dog. We're gonna come into three-legged dog, bringing the right leg up into the sky, open up into a fire hydrant, rotate the knee, go in the other direction. Oh, feels amazing. Put that right foot back down by the left. Let's just do 2 breaths here. If you are doing a figure four, you can, of course, just switch sides. Now, let's set up on the other side. So bring that blanket, if you're using a blanket, over to the other side. And then we're going to bring the left foot up by the right wrist. Inhale, stretch up. So nice little back bend. And then exhaling forward, folding all the way down, putting your head on something. So if you can't reach the floor, put it on a blanket. Make sure that you're really resting that forehead. Long, slow breaths. And then we're going to come up, leaning on the left hand, and then grab that ankle with the right foot, and we're going to go back and forth. So kicking and then pulling in gently, kicking, pulling in gently. So we're being thoughtful and kind to our body and working the muscle here. And you can feel how this is the opposite of sitting. See how we're in a little back bend? All right, let's do one more. Excellent. Placing the right hand on the ground, inching that right heel, that knee up a little bit. Stepping into three-legged dog, left knee open, rotate the knee, and then go in the other direction. All right, we'll do one more down dog. Bring the feet next to each other. Let the head turn side to side. Nice. And then we're going to come all the way down and turn over onto our back. We'll do a happy baby. Shavasana is imminent. Imminent. So if you want to have your bolster or other things for Shavasana, go ahead and grab those. If you need another blanket, if you want to dim the lights, turn on a heater, grab a pet. Whatever you want to do. So let's meet in a happy baby. And here again, use your intuition. Where does your back want a little bit of love? So you bring the feet together and roll around the sacrum. You can roll onto the middle of the back. Roll up and down the spine a little bit. Whatever feels perfect for you today. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and set up for Shavasana, making sure you're warm. So we're going to do 3 physiological sighs to get grounded, feeling the bones sink into the ground. So inhale 2 parts through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And last one. And now let the whole body just collapse. Long, slow breaths to the nose. Letting your mind wander. Whatever wants to happen is perfectly fine. going to start to notice the aftermath of practice today. So we're first going to check in with the emotional state, noticing if there's any shift. And then we're going to notice the mental state. So noticing if there's any change in our thought patterns, or have our thoughts shifted, or are they less urgent? And then we're going to do our gratitude practice. So think of something you're so thankful for, and then let the gratitude spread, filling your entire body. And memorize this feeling. You can bring it back anytime. And then we'll remember the intention that we set. All right, 2-part inhale, exhale, reaching arms overhead. Physiological sigh, bring the knees into the chest. Roll around the sacrum in one direction. Go in the other. Then we're going to come up to sit. We're going to bring our hands over our heart center. Inhale for an Om. Om. And may the benefits of this practice benefit you and everyone you meet. Namaste. So I'm Bett Bolhofer. I hope you appreciated and enjoyed this class. If you did, click the like button and share it with a friend. Click subscribe to get notified whenever I put out a new video. I have all kinds of videos. Many of them are for a specific body part. We have tons of chair yoga. I hope that you will return. Thank you. Namaste.